All right, guys, here's another What's Next. Today we're talking about featherweight contender Shakur Stevenson. We're going to, he came back to action. I think it was like his third time this year. He fought on July 13th in the main event of an ESPN card when he took on Albert Kuvara, some unknown guy. He was a last-minute replacement for Franklin Manzanilla. And Stevenson dominated him. 3 knockdowns, third-round TKO. Just absolutely pummeled that guy. No surprise there. But it was his first time main eventing a fight. He was at home in Newark, New Jersey with that win. So a big-time win for him. The question now is, what's next for Shakur Stevenson? Well, Stevenson feels he's ready for a world title, that he's not just a fringe contender anymore or a prospect on the rise. He's actually a legitimate world title contender. So he wants to fight the best. He wants to fight the top guys. Looking over the top 10, the guy he wants the most is undefeated IBF champion Josh Warrington. A lot of people aren't sure if Warrington really wants that fight. I think Warrington kind of doesn't really have any other big name options if he wants to take on a big name opponent. I think the chances of that fight are about 50-50 right now, maybe more. Because I think Warrington's down to face a bigger name, like a guy like Stevenson. Stevenson has a good-sized name, so I think he might roll that dice and take that risk. But taking a look at the other guys in the top 10, Leo Santa Cruz, not going to happen. Santa Cruz will not take a risk like that. He has too many other big options and more tangible, beatable options. Gary Russell Jr., I don't think Russell will take that challenge, even though I'd love to see that fight. 2 southpaw classic boxers. Top Rank would have to work with the PBC, which, I don't know if that relationship would work, but I would love to see that fight. And it's a fight I wouldn't completely rule out. I just don't think Gary Russell is going to want that fight right now. I don't see it. Carl Frampton. Frampton's probably going to fight, Frampton wants a world title, and he's probably going to fight Oscar Valdez next. For that world title. So this is probably going to be avoided. Oscar Valdez, undefeated champ. If for some reason it didn't work out with Valdez and Frampton, or Valdez and Warrington, I think Valdez might roll the dice and take a chance at Stevenson, but I think that's too big of a risk for him. He's trying to stay world champ and build his own resume, so I don't see it. Kid Galahad. I wouldn't completely rule this one out. Galahad's coming off a tough split decision loss to Warrington, so I don't think he's going to want to go in against a really good boxer like Stevenson, but I wouldn't completely rule it out. Following that, you got Tug Nyambayar. He's in line for a world title. I don't think he's going to roll the dice against a guy like Stevenson. I think it's a risk. I don't know if Stevenson would want the fight. Shu Kan. I could see him facing Shu Kan because he's number 1 in the WBA as Stevenson, and Kan has a WBA regular belt. So I think this is an option right here. And not a bad one. Kan throws a lot of punches. He's not a big-time threat in terms of power. So I think Stevenson would face him. I think it'd be an interesting fight. Jesus Rojas, I'd like to see it, but I don't think it happens. Not a big enough name, doesn't have a world title. And then rounding out the top 10, you got Jesse Magdaleno. He's fighting August 10th. I wouldn't completely rule it out because these two guys are both with Top Rank, but I'm not sure Magdaleno wants to, in only his 3rd fight at featherweight, I'm not sure he's going to want to roll the dice against a guy like Stevenson, but he might be able to be talked into it if Bob Arum, can work that out, because it is a big fight for Magdaleno. So that's pretty much it. I think the most real ones are probably Josh Warrington, maybe Shu Kan for Stevenson, but Stevenson's a great boxer, and he's definitely a talent, and you guys really should check him out. That's it. True Boxing. Been hit with the truth.